I'm Sunshine Flying, you can call me Tia, and today we are building something brand new, something I've been thinking about for a long time, and I am so excited to share with you today. This is something that I've been thinking about for a while and kind of mulling over how exactly I would do it, where I would build it, and just kind of trying to figure out how I would build something so outside of my usual. I decided to just suck it up, give it a try, and do my best, because that is what the inspiration for this build, Ms. Dolly Parton herself, would want me to do. So here we are. The inspiration from this comes from some pictures that I saw online recently about a new bar that popped up on top of the Graduate Hotel in Nashville called White Limousine, which is a massive, pink, huge, over-the-top homage to Dolly Parton. And so the whole place, inside and out, is pink. And it is entirely dedicated to Dolly Parton. And now I, myself, am not a huge country music fan. I was kind of forced to listen to it as a kid. It's never really been my favorite. But I gotta be honest with you. When this whole pandemic thing started, and the news came out that Dolly Parton was putting her money towards finding a vaccine and taking care of people, my heart instantly was like, I like this lady. The more I found out about Dolly Parton, the more I liked her. I'm a librarian, and I started hearing about all the stuff that she does for childhood literacy and making sure kids get books, and I was like, oh my gosh, this woman is incredible. So needless to say, I decided that I might not like country music, but I like Dolly Parton. Maybe even love. Because she stands for a lot of things I stand for. And to be completely honest, country music or not, she's written some bangers. Like, I may not like country music, but Jolene, that song hits pretty hard. Not gonna lie, like, I've considered lifting my ban on country music at my wedding just for that song alone. And of course, Man, I Feel Like a Woman by Shania Twain, because everyone needs a little Shania Twain at their wedding. But, all that aside, I will share in the description of this video a link to the article that I saw that inspired me to make this build. Now, I will say, it is not completely like the pictures, and part of that is because we just don't have a lot of the same swatches. Another reason is that I started to get a little bit burnt out. Pink isn't really my color. I'll be honest with you, this build was definitely a challenge for me to just push through it being so different from my usual. But all that being said, I am so happy with how it turned out. And I'll also say that the further I got on in the build, the less I looked at the inspiration pictures, and the more I just thought, you know, bright, colorful, pink Dolly. And less about trying to duplicate the pictures that I saw in this article. So, take that as you will. There are a lot of elements that I didn't carry over, like the greenery kind of hanging down from the rooftop, and, you know, the piano walls, because we really can't totally replicate that. I did try to use the black and white wallpaper to kind of pay homage to that, though. But for the most part, I took inspiration without completely copying and replicating. And I try to do this in a lot of my builds just because I don't know if you who are watching is a builder and have experienced the same thing, but a lot of, like, in real life builds, we can take inspiration from them, but we can't completely replicate them. And that's just because of some of the dimensions and some of just the weird quirks of translating real life into a video game. And so I did my best, but I also didn't want it to be a full-on carbon copy. I hope you still enjoy it for what it is. I certainly do. And I think in the end, it is still a bright, colorful, cheerful homage to a really, really wonderful selfless lady. And it really is just a wonderful chance for me as a builder to kind of stretch my legs and try something new, which if you've been watching my videos now for a while, you know that's something I've tried to do a lot lately. And if you haven't been watching my videos, hey, now you know. I've been trying to do a lot of builds and styles that I don't usually do. That being said, also stay tuned. I will be using a lot of the new packs and items as they come out. The Courtyard Oasis, as of when I am recording this, came out yesterday. So I will be kind of doing my research and exploring some Moroccan styles and themes and hopefully representing that all right, and doing some builds of that style. And I'm also going to be exploring some other styles as well for some ideas that I have coming up, so please stay tuned for those. I'm really going to be trying some new stuff with my Friday builds in addition to my Renovation Wednesday videos. So we're still working on the inside here. I really tried to play around a lot, and I kept thinking it was so dark and kept forgetting that I needed lights hanging. But I think I catch on to that soon here. But I had a lot of fun building the bar, especially with the mirrors and those backlit kind of bar shelves. It was a lot of fun too, kind of changing over the countertops to that white, which you will see if you go to the article linked below. The countertops are actually like a chrome, like this really cool reflective chrome. And I really love how that looked. And I also had a lot of fun adding in greenery. But I think the bright and hot pinks really start to pop when we head outside. But this was also a really awesome chance to try out some new swatches in a lot of furniture that I usually use, but only use more of the neutral tones in. And of course using new items, since I typically build residential builds. So I got to try out a lot of fancier furniture that I don't often use, just because, again, I'll do a lot of suburban, not really fancy homes, and I'll use a lot of just, you know, your basic home items, nothing like dance floors, instruments like grand pianos, microphones, that sort of thing. But since I did decide, even though the title says it's a bar, I decided to keep it as a lounge. So that did mean that I had to have certain things like a stereo, a microphone, a musical instrument, and things like that. And I was also amazed with the number of rugs that came in a pink swatch. I thought that was really cool. So I have a ton of different rugs around the interior that came in pink swatches. So yeah, all kinds of pink inside and out, pink marble. And then I really got to have some fun outside as well with different kinds of plants. I just kind of arranged them in a somewhat pattern, but also made sure that there was some walking space. I really thought it would be cool to have some live music outside and just some more like recorded music inside, but of course put a DJ booth outside because you can't have somebody playing music all the time. But I did like the idea of maybe like a surprise concert from Dolly just kind of happening outside if you were lucky enough to be at her club on a day like that. So I really loved those palms too from the, I believe it was the Paranormal pack. Those palms make appearances all over outside. So I repeated a lot of the same plants, but kind of arranged them differently. And of course, one of the focal points of the photos that you'll see in the link in the description is the outdoor pool. Now I couldn't do any words at the bottom like in the photos, but I did manage to find some fancy designs that actually came in a pink swatch, which I thought was super cool, and wasn't really what I was expecting. And Since the water in the picture was blue, I kept the water in the pool pink. I resisted the urge to make the water in the pool pink, just because I just feel like every other pool watercolor aside from blue is just a little gross. I get what they were going for. It just looks weird and kind of dirty. But I don't know, I think it suits certain builds, but just not this one. I really wanted to make those flat planters on the end posts work, but they just weren't going to. And there were a couple delays in the filming. It looks like I was multitasking and missed a few points, but that's okay. We can chat too. But it was a fun little bar to try to replicate, and on the walls I couldn't really replicate the artwork on the inside or outside because they are of country music stars. I thought about looking for some stuff on the gallery, but just wanted to make sure it was like totally accessible to everybody who would want to download, so I just kind of left it with some basic stuff. It's not pack restricted though, so it may still exclude you if you don't have a bunch of packs, so I apologize for that. I'm just adding some tables here, trying to get a wide variety of seating, so I'm gonna have an outdoor bar as well, some planters. We're gonna get some outdoor lighting soon too, because I do always forget about that. And I change up the dance floors here, just adding a little bit more pink. That was the theme of this whole build. It felt a little silly to me, especially once I got to the outside. But that was the theme of the build, and I know all of the pinkness would have made Dolly proud. So I just kept going with it. Kind of hid some in planters and in potted plants and in pillars, and tried to get a little bit creative with the lighting as well. Pulled out that cube, which I think is awesome, and I absolutely fell in love with that circular end table. I just thought it fit the vibe of this place so well. And just kind of slid some stuff together and just had a lot of fun with it, and I think it turned out super nice. And I really loved how those wicker benches fit in, and that little arch as well. So we are getting a little closer to the end of the build now. I think I'm just getting a couple more umbrellas outside, just in case some people did want some shade by the pool, some more pool seating, and now we're heading into the screenshots. So it was raining in the game when I tried to take some screenshots, so I do eventually head back to build mode. So if you do see grid lines on the bottom, I do apologize for that. I will be getting MC Command Center, so that doesn't happen from now on when I do screenshots for my builds. So thank you for bearing with me for that. I'm still kind of a newbie when it comes to things like mods. I do hope you enjoyed this build. If you do, please give me a thumbs up and drop a comment below as well if you have other suggestions or requests for future builds. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.